It's the Here to Record. It's the Here to Record. It's the Here to Record live show.
Hello, hello. Welcome to a live stream here on the Here to Record YouTube channel. First time in a long time. I haven't actually looked at the figures of when I was last here making one of these videos or live streams, but I know it's been a while, so nice to have you here. Let me know if you can hear and see me just fine. I have the chat somewhere on my monitors here, and I'm keeping an eye on things as we'll go through. So, you know, as always, we'll see how things go. I'm also running on my classic 4G internet. I'm back home again, as you can see, or just about to see. There's a real mess behind me here, so I've moved away from the office space. Since I now have not so tiny of a house anymore, we have plenty of space to have lots of equipment behind me, and you can see all that here. It's actually just at the corner of the living room, which you can't see over there, which is probably for the best. But the future plan being that I'll move everything into that room over there. So someday I'll get around to that, but we haven't quite finished that yet. It's quite a construction project. Let me see. I'm just looking ahead here to see what else I'm missing. Yeah, mostly on the show today, I just want to talk about a conference record and live stream that I did recently. I thought that would be a pretty good topic to jump back into the live show with. And I have a bunch of footage that I want to show off from that. So we'll see if that works out. And yeah, current audio bitrate is 0. I think that was an old... I just got worried there from the from the YouTube errors, but I think that was because I turned off the music for a few seconds before I went live. No, it's fine. But people are saying they can hear and see just fine, which is always good. Let me just see if I can pull up my social chat here just to make sure I can say hello. Hello, Eric. Good to have you here. Can hear you just fine. People coming in from all over the place as usual. It's been a while since I've seen all these names. Nicholas from Helsingborg, and Eric says that he enjoyed that opening music there. Nice little jingle. Yeah, I enjoyed that. I could talk about that someday on another live stream, but I thought it was fun to have at least a little intro music and video to kick off the day. So that's what I threw in there to get things started. So what have I been up to? I've got no space for a studio tour just yet. I just saw that come in there from, who was it said that? ATEM Outreach. No, this is... someday, yes, but not today. It's very much a mess around here, so I'll get to it at some point. No, what I really wanted to do was just break down this show, and then I can dig into that, and then we can see where things go from there. So, like I said, I have a bunch of footage here, and let me cue up the first video as I walk into the venue. I want to make sure that you can't hear the audio on this because it was very loud. So basically, I'm at a venue here last week in Malmö, Sweden, and this is quite a nice big theater area, and we had the stage set up. I was working with another production company that's locally based here, so I was just running the live stream a little bit, just playing a small part in the overall production. But the stage is set here. It was a SaaS based conference, which actually worked out really well for me because if you're unfamiliar, SaaS or software as a service is basically the way I sell H2R gear. It's just a piece of software that you pay for on an ongoing basis, just like a service. So not only was I there getting some behind the scenes footage for a live stream just like this, but I was also learning some stuff about building a SaaS business because that's what the whole thing was about. And then I was also actually working at the event and you know, running the live stream, so I was also doing that. Oh, and we also used Rundown Studio for the run of show as well, so I was kind of there as I wasn't really there as a technical help for that, but I just happened to be on site for this job, so that worked out nicely. I can tell it's been a while since I've went live. I'm a little rusty, but I'll get there. So this was the scene at the stage. You can see here, actually, I turned on my, let me see if I can cut to this, and I turned on my telestrator functionality in H2R graphics, so I could draw on this screen, but I think that I have got the wrong one up there. Okay, this is the right one. So, yes, you can see that. I have a few screens to show off here that we'll break down in a minute. But you can see on the sides here, there's two big projection screens that are being projected from above. And these were mostly used for IMAG, or image magnification. If you're familiar with that term, basically it means putting the camera feed up on the screen so you can see it. And then there's a huge screen in the center for presentations. This was very much a conference where you would see talks and all that good stuff. So a nice big screen for that. And then there's actually another screen which is just below a DJ here, which was powered by QLab, and it was basically used for showing like the name of the speaker, like almost like a lower third for people watching from their seats. They could have a look at, as the speaker was sent onto the screen, they could see their name and who they were. As for the camera production here, I can show you some shots of that too. So here I am, sort of halfway in the middle of the venue, and there's a couple of cameras set up. So we have a couple of these Panasonic PTZ cameras, which one was controlled by me, and the other one was controlled by Daniel. You'll see him in a minute, but he was running the main production camera switching. I was sort of doing part of it, and then we had an operated camera here. You can just see the tripod and the control for that. So someone actually sat here and operated the camera. So as a speaker would walk back and forward on the stage, then we had at least one camera that was operated by a person that could actually follow them around. I'm going to skip that video, but what you can see here in this little blurry shot, this is Daniel, who's one of the local guys running one of his own sort of running productions and building out these kind of technical video workflows so that you can have all the nice shots of the people. He's just messing around here. I was making him pose and try out the operator's spots just so I could see what that looks like. There you go. And then up on the balcony here, you can see there's another camera getting a wider shot. This was sort of my safety shot just in case things went wrong. So Daniel, who you saw a second ago, he was running the IMAG production. So all the cameras were coming into his system for the IMAG production, and then they were all being split out into my ATEM so that I could do a actual record and live stream of the production for people outside of the room. So that was sort of the split between the two tasks. So you can see here there's a safety shot, which we tended to use for he wouldn't use this on the iMac. Of course, this would look really strange being up on a big screen like that, but I certainly used it a ton for my wide shot. If a speaker was coming out on stage, perfect for that. You know, no one touches this, just stays where it is. All right, what else? Oh yeah, then we had another camera on the side of the stage. So now I'm off to the right of the stage here, and you can see one more PTZ that's been mounted upside down, and it's getting this really nice side shot. So just for that variation, I probably would have added another one of these to the other side if we had the chance, so we could get like the cross shot. But for this case, it worked really well to have that one camera just pointed, especially since the entrance to the stage was right here. So if someone was to walk on stage, then we could capture them nicely as they walked out on stage. Worked really well. This next video, I don't remember what I have not named it properly, so let's see what plays here. Ah yes, so now I'm up on the stage. I'm where I just marked out that people would come on, but I am up on the stage now. And behind the screens, where you can see behind the stage here, is the full tech booth. So going from left to right, you can see the barcode setup, which was actually controlling or deciding what was on the screens. And then next to that, there's QLab, which of course was sending out cues, certain videos that need to be played, classic PowerPoint presentation, a couple of extra bits and pieces. Then we had a Resolume computer, which was doing some composition for the stage. We'll get that covered in a minute or two so you can see that. And then traveling a bit further down here, you can see there's a vMix computer, which had pretty much a single task, but we'll also get to that, what we use that for, which is quite a nice little trick. And then there's Daniel again, actually both called Daniel, but this is Daniel, camera Daniel, that I showed a second ago, down in his position, and then my position was just off here, right beside him, and I'll get down there as well. I got a little close-up shot of the barcode as well, but honestly, I don't know much about this kind of thing. I was just looking at the interface to see if I could managed to learn it by clicking around, but I decided not to in the end. Since this was show day, I just thought I'll leave it, and someone else will run that. So I didn't touch that at all. Traveling a bit further down here, you can see vMix actually, and I'll just press play on this video. What you can actually see here is a vMix call coming into this vMix session here, and what they were basically doing was taking this call. And in fact, if I just keep playing this video, I think we shoot it off. So what you can see here is the vMix call's coming in, and then it was actually walking on the hallway just outside the room and getting some shots of people mingling. And we did a fun little opening where the hosts of the conference would start out there and come into the stage. And with this vMix call, we were then taking that image and pushing it out into Resolume, which I think I just show in a second or two. I'm going to swoop over there in a second. There we go. So now you can see what is effectively that left and right iMag screen there with that vMix feed coming in. Now, we ended up actually using that vMix feed on the center screen here, but for the purposes of this demo, it's effectively the same idea. But it looked really good. And then up on since we couldn't actually see what we were doing, like I said, we were actually backstage behind the screen, so you can't actually see if someone's coming on stage and what's happening at all. You get quite unsure about what's happening out there. So the wide camera had another function, which is that it was used here on a big display that everyone could see backstage, so you can actually get a sense of what's happening out there, instead of us all sitting out in front of house, which there would not have been space for. And you can also see there in this example that the iMag is showing up on the big screen, which looks really cool. It made for a really nice effect as people were filling into their seats here. This roaming camera was up on the main middle screen, and it looked really nice with everyone just filtering in and finding their seats. Let me see, what else did I have here? I have a random video next. Yes, that brings me to the last position on the backstage, back of house, let's say, which was where I was sitting. This is an ATEM STI Extreme ISO, and it had all the camera feeds coming into it. In fact, if I break things down a little bit, get rid of that, and show you my desktop screen here, I have H2R gear running. And in here, I can show you sort of the breakdown of the equipment. Now, this is going to be a very simplified version, since a lot of it I wasn't involved in even making happen, so I didn't actually wire most of it up. But I'm just going to get myself in there. Perfect. Hello again. So in the H2R gear setup here, you can see that the Constellation mixer was actually the main camera switching mixer for the iMag, for the big picture, big up on the screen production. And this was perfect for that, because what we had was all 4, or actually 5 cameras were all coming into that main switcher. So all over SDI, from the front of the house to the back of the house. And 4 of them were in control. Well, I suppose one of them actually was that wide shot, so no one was controlling that. No, that's not true, actually. This wide shot had a network connection going to it as well, so it was being somewhat controlled in terms of color and exposure. So Daniel was controlling that wide shot, and the 2 PTZs, which was the one on the side and the one of the 2 at the back, and then the operated camera as well. So all of those were going into the Constellation, and the PTZ that I had control of, this is my little station here in grey, it was also, of course, feeding into that same system. That way he could take any of these 5 cameras up on the big screen. But from there, each of those cameras were also fed out into the ATEM SDI Extreme ISO that I was using. That way I had access to all 5 of these cameras. And then I also additionally had access to Daniel's program feed. So whatever he was showing on that big screen, I could just cut to it as well, which was really nice, since whenever a presenter walks on stage and they do like a 20-minute talk, you're mostly on their operated camera, following them back and forth on the stage. So there's no real need for me to cut to anything else. And if there is the odd insert shot, there's a good chance it's going to be on the iMag. So for portions of the production, I was able to take that into the ATEM here and just use his program, so whatever he cut. In fact, I could use that in SuperSource as well and use his cut production along with the PowerPoint, which was coming from the Barco system. Where things got slightly more interesting was that I was recording the production for later use, uploaded to YouTube or something like that, whatever they want to do with it, of course. But we also had this ATEM streaming bridge. Now, if I go back over to my let me see here. Where did I put this at? Yes, over to my clips again. You'll see here, I'm actually out. I showed you the hallway earlier. Well, I'm out even further now. I'm in a restaurant that's in the same building, but it's got this nice little ATEM streaming bridge, which is receiving the stream from my ATEM Mini and then sending that out via SDI all the way to this big LED processor and LED screen that was in the restaurant. So that way, if anybody wanted to get some work done maybe, but they didn't want to go too far away from the event, flashing lights, then they could watch the stream. And like I said, this is connected here to the same network, and then I'm just doing a local live stream. So you can see at the top there, it has the Ethernet connection, and then on the bottom, it has that SDI output. And it's just receiving that stream from the ATEM SDI Extreme, as I showed here in the diagram, over the network. And then it's sending that off to the LED processor, which is an SDI cable away. Quite a nice solution instead of running an SDI cable throughout the building, which we couldn't really do. This is a big old building that wasn't really possible. So a really nice fix to use that. Not my idea. This is basically the whole idea behind this production that I was involved in is just I show up, use their equipment, and do as I'm told. So I tended to stick with that. Let me see, did I have any more videos here? One or two more. So this was the last main video here. You can see is all set up, and Daniel there with his Constellation switcher. We're behind the stage, so everything's back to front. And then you can see here on the side that I have Rundown Studio open up because we were using that to run the actual schedule for the production. And then finally I got this nice little time lapse. You probably saw this if you're following on Instagram. You might have saw this this fun little time lapse that I managed to get while we were doing the opening of the show. I don't even think it started yet. Yeah, there we go. So the show's started. So that's a little breakdown of what we did. I quite enjoyed it. It was a good show. Sitting backstage is, I find, much nicer than sitting front of house and having to be very quiet. I did this exact production for Tune, who's the local AV supplier that supplied this and that got me to work on it. I did the exact same production for them and with them about 2-3 years ago. And in those days, I was sitting out front of house with the ATEM, with the two cameras, operating them. And so it's come a long way in the last few years to get to that point for this production. And I much like it. I much more prefer this way of doing things, that we're all sitting backstage, and it makes for a really nice experience. You can chat to each other, not only socially, but you can also ask for things from people. We all had comms headsets on, but whenever you're sitting front of house in front of or with a couple of hundred people around you, packed around you, often it's strange to talk into a little comms headset, and it feels a bit wrong. So it was nice to do that. Questions on this are welcome, and I have a couple of minutes that I will happily answer these questions. Rob here wants to know, did you use a redundant ISO recording? Not for this one. Oh, no, wait, that's not true. We did actually do that. Not on the ATEM ISO. So the ATEM Extreme ISO that I was using, it just recorded the program and it did the live stream. But we skipped the ISO on it. However, in the Constellation rack that Tune, the company that I worked for, owned, they have a couple of 3 hyperdeck mini hyperdecks in their rack. So they were able to, of course, with the Constellation and all those extra outputs, they could send individual feeds to 3 of those. So I think that they did a program feed, maybe a wide shot feed, and something else, just in case they had it. So we were actually nicely redundantly covered, which was nice. Eric says, streaming out to the internet, were you encoding it on the ATEM Extreme? No, actually, in this case, we didn't do any live streaming to the internet. This was all just a local live stream. So in the case of the ATEM Extreme to the ATEM streaming bridge, it was just going point to point, no hops outside anywhere, just straight to that ATEM extreme. So that I quite like that solution as a way of sending a feed, even though you couldn't watch it in real time. Of course, you couldn't sit and listen to that and the real thing because there is enough delay there that it would be quite strange. But there was a couple of quite a few meters between the main room, and it was all closed, and then all the way out to the restaurant. The two you couldn't watch or hear at the same time, so it was perfect for that actually. Yes, Resolume and Barco are solid options. Resolume is something I've been playing with a little bit and enjoying a lot. There's a lot of things you can do in there, so it's overwhelming definitely, but it's quite interesting. Thank you for the questions and comments on that. Rob actually asks here something a little bit different. What do you use for video playback right now, and for the drawing? So I think I can show this. It's going to do like the infinite loop thing here, I'm sure, because I'm going to have to share my screen and share vMix at the same time. So now what you can see on program is a real mess, but you'll have to go with it. Oh wait, hold on. Maybe I could do the old classic thing of covering up the program window with a shot of myself again. So let me see here. If I pop into this the 2UP, millions of me here, and I add myself back in again. Where am I at here? I didn't really name my layers very well here. Main camera. There you go. I did actually name it quite well. I can position that. This works, right? I can position that right here over the program of now you can see loads of me. This was a silly idea. Let me do this. Oh, what did I close? Oh, it doesn't matter. No, let me do this again. So layers. I'll get rid of that. And then I will just show you this desktop capture, which is just the screen here that I'm using today to make this video. And then on top of that layer, I'll show you what I'm doing here. This is so much fun whenever you do like infinite looping. Okay, here we go. I need to move that out of the way so I can see what I'm doing. Perfect. Now you can see vMix, and you can see what I'm up to. So for the video playback, I'm actually just using the vMix built-in. It's really far over there on my screen. vMix's built-in ability to build a list. So I have all of the video files that I showed you in here in a list, and I've just loaded them in from my phone and dragged them down through Dropbox, and then I have set some inputs and outputs on some of them because I found that some of them were really, really too long. Not that one. So I was just jumping through these and pressing play. For the drawing on screen, which I'm doing accidentally sometimes, you can see there, but I'm using H2R graphics. So I have my output open up here in as an input within vMix. And what I wanted to do originally was draw on the screen, but I realized if I put that in preview, I can draw on the screen, but I don't necessarily know exactly where I'm drawing, because I'm right now with my mouse I'm drawing on this side, which makes it really difficult to know exactly. For example, if I want to draw on this clock here, I need to sort of find it. Oh, I managed to find it. So instead what I did was I made another input in vMix called list withdraw, and what that basically is the list playback and the browser source on top of it. And then whenever I cut to that on program here, which I can do right now, and pause this so it doesn't keep playing, I'm able to draw on the actual program feed rather than what I was doing previously, which is just sort of guessing where I was drawing. So that works quite nicely. I hope that answers your question. Let me see if I can just get rid of that. Come back to me. Make sure all my drawing's gone. There we go. Thanks for the question. So that's video and drawing as well. Yes, someone brings up what was next on my list anyway, which is A little bit off topic here from Wouter, but is there a SpaceCommz Discord? I have some beta feedback. Yes, so if you're not familiar with what Wouter is talking about there, we have just myself and Jonas of PlayOutB. I'm trying to just get rid of this weird overlay now on myself so I can go back to my computer screen. Where did I do that? There we go. So back to the screen. In the browser here, I'm going to show you SpaceCommz, which is in beta right now, something that Jonas and I have been working on, which is a production comms that are out of this world, we've called it, but it is a web-based comms platform for chatting remotely with your team, whether you're doing virtual production, remote production. I mean, not virtual production, but well, remote virtual production. You could do that too. And you want to connect with your team. Then this is the way to do it, I believe. We are currently in beta, so if you want to scroll down and sign up for the beta list, you can do that. And what it is once you get in there, you'll see that you can create groups. So these are fast ways to assign party lines or channels to people. So you can create these groups and you can create members, and then you can add members to those groups. I'm kind of glossing over this now because I'm sure we'll go deep into it whenever we release it and make a live stream about it. But if I jump into this insecure password I set there, never mind that. This is what it looks like currently. This is changing fast, but it's currently in beta, so you can expect it to change by the time you even sign up for the beta. What you have here is all these party lines, so you can talk and listen to each of them. So let's say I want to talk on channel 1 and 2, but I only want to listen to channel 1, or maybe I only have listening privileges and I could just listen on those. So it's if you've used these kind of comm systems before, this will all make sense to you. If you haven't, no problem. We'll do much better about explaining what this is all about. But if you want to learn more about that, I will just throw a link to that in the chat so you can sign up. Let us know. Sign up for the SpaceCommz. It's fun to watch someone type, isn't it? Beta. It's been a really fun project. Something that Jonas has done, I'll admit, done a whole lot of the work on. And I'm just helping him do some bits and pieces on it. So if you want to learn more about that, then do it. To answer your question, Ryder, yes, there is a specific channel in the Discord that we can add you to, but you're going to have to send me a DM if you haven't already, and I will add you to it specifically. It's a bit of a manual process to add people. We don't have a specific Discord in there. We have a specific channel within the Discord. So just send me a personal message on Discord, and I will add you to that. No problem. Thanks for that. What else? Yes, I had another thing. If you haven't watched it already, you ought to have checked out a little video me and Adam Tao of Mix Effect fame, I want to say, made this week. Or last week we posted it, I suppose. So it's been a while since I made videos on YouTube, and that's been for many different reasons, but it doesn't matter. Here I am. I'm waiting for this ad to finish so I can show it to you. But what me and Adam have decided to do is get together, and you can see the adverts playing in the background here. Get together and chit chat about all things, video production, applications, whatever we care about here. So you're going to see a shot of me now talking, but we have recorded one so far of the two of us. Maybe someday we'll make an episode about how we record the episodes. And it ended up being I wanted it to be like 15-20 minutes, but we ended up talking for like 40 minutes about all the Blackmagic design updates from NAB. So if you haven't watched that yet, it's on this channel. Go check it out. Give you something to do after this live stream finishes. And I think you'll enjoy it. If you like this kind of chit chat about these sorts of things, then I'm sure you'll enjoy it. What we wanted to do is both make more content and talk about these kind of things. And sometimes it helps to have someone else alongside you, pushing you to definitely make these things, because otherwise time passes. I know how it is. Time passes and you end up not doing much videos because other things are easier or faster or more important sometimes. Yes, Adam Tao of Mix Effect fame. You have the right person. Cool. Well, I hope I've done some justice of breaking that down. My idea actually was to make like a on location video with all this footage as well. So I might still do that. This has been a nice little test run to talk my way through the video footage that I had, and I can now see what I got. One of the things that's hard whenever you're doing these kind of jobs, since you are there to actually work or to record, you forget to take some footage and do these kind of things. So I'm glad I managed to do that and get around to it. Any last questions before I wrap things up for the day? Because I liked when I used to do live streams. One of the things I liked about it was trying to keep the time into a succinct amount of time, 30 minutes or so. I really like that. And I felt like that was a good way to talk about one or two things tops and then go from there. So I think I've done okay again. Alrighty. Next live stream, my plan is to do this like once a month. The first, a weird way to put it, but the first Wednesday of every month is my plan. So this is the first Wednesday of May, and I'm hoping anyway, I'll be back again first Wednesday of June to talk about what I've been up to. I think I'll have plenty to talk about SpaceCommz by then, since we'll have done a bunch more work since between now and then. I have been working on a lot of new H2R Graphics V3 features, which I will have loads of things to share there because there's going to be a lot of stuff packed in for sure. And I'm sure there'll be lots of Rundown Studio things to talk about. And I have lots of jobs between then and now, or now and then again. So I'm sure I'll have lots of photos and videos from those to break down shows as well. So yeah, I appreciate you being here. I do have some credits somewhere. Let me see if I can find them before. One last question coming in from Nicholas here. Any fun rundown updates? Anything fun? Yeah, we have some big ones coming out we're working on currently, but one of the ones that would have helped us a lot last week on this show that I just showed off was an ability to share many rundowns with people at the same time. Since you make like an event and you can put lots of rundowns in there and you can send one link with all the rundowns, and we've basically got that done and ready to go out, so that should be out pretty soon. And then we have quite a list of fun things to get to after that. As Eric says here, don't forget to like and subscribe. I appreciate that. And a little bell icon too. I love it. Yes, Tony, you just missed it. Things are wrapping up, but we'll see you on the next one. I'm sure you can find me next time on the next live stream or the next video. I'm sort of trying to get more into making these videos, so I'm sure I will pretty soon. All right, let me see if I can find my credits, because I want to make sure that I say a big thanks to the supreme supporters who've stuck with the channel: Jim from Cloud Bedrock, Jeremy, Revolution Lightboards, Marlon as well, and all of you have chatted in the chat today. I really appreciate you being here and chatting with me. I have no other way of getting out of this stream other than to come back to me and say thanks. I it's been a while. I'm using very different equipment today, and but I've enjoyed it. So thanks a lot for being here. Let me see if I can press play on my music. Turn it on, bring it up a little, and I'll see you in the next one. Let's just go to this clock with 0 on it. Bye.